Hello, good evening and welcome. You're watching City Wrap Ramadan and my name is Ilham Al-Hamadi. On today's show, we'll shed light on diabetes and how one can manage it while fasting. And of course, we'll be hosting our popular Ramadan recipe segment when we learn how to cook an iftar meal here in studio while you follow along at home. Oh, and did I mention prizes? Well, lucky for you, there are tons up for grabs. This evening, we're giving you the chance to win prizes worth thousands of dirhams, including bourgeois bag worth 1,000 dirhams, ×5 praying mat, iftar vouchers for the address hotels, voucher for Mandara Spa, 1 million absolutely gold perfume, a bundle of Sally Hansen products, and meal vouchers for Wafi restaurants. We'll be sharing details on how you can win these prizes a later on in the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Now, with sunrise and sunset being almost 15 hours apart and temperatures well above 45 degrees Celsius, this has been called one of the toughest Ramadans in the recent years. And for almost 1/3 of the population in UAE suffering from diabetes, it's even tougher. So how can diabetics observe a successful Ramadan without harming their health? Priyankada checks out a new interactive tool, the Diabetes Conversation Map, aimed at a healthy Ramadan.
Fasting for almost 14 hours every day is trying, even for the most physically fit. And for someone affected by diabetes, it can get even more daunting. But that does not mean that diabetics cannot observe the holy month of Ramadan. All it takes is the right approach and some medical supervision.
People with diabetes stays with them for life. Is it safe for them to fast or it is not safe? There are categories. For some of them, it's very safe to fast. For others, it carries some risk. For others, it may be very risky. And here the person who has diabetes and also the doctor who takes care of this person should know which one can fast safely, which one fasting carries risk for them.
Besides medical intervention, it's crucial for a diabetes patient to always have the right kind of support and information. This Ramadan, a new tool, a diabetes conversation map, is helping patients through the month. Unlike going to a doctor and being told what to do, this conversation is between peers, diabetic patients and their families who attend these sessions to learn from each other's experiences.
First of all, the Diabetes Conversation Map offers an alternative way of communicating education. Many times there are large groups of people that come together, and many times the doctor has to teach one-on-one. And neither one of those reaches every patient because every patient has a different learning style. Some people actually learn better if they're in a group and they have a conversation. They remember more. They may be clear about the answer that was given, or they can help each other to understand. And so the benefit of the conversation maps is not that it replaces any of the other education methods, it just adds.
Now, different kinds of diabetes conversation maps have existed for the past few years, but there was a need felt, especially in this part of the world, to launch a special map on managing diabetes through Ramadan, helping diabetics in this country stay healthy through the holy month.
Ramadan is a significant change of your daily habits and behavior and eating patterns. And because diabetes is so much built around how you eat, what you eat when, and then how you use your medications, how you use diet and exercise, this big disruption is a major change for the patient.
And since food is such an integral part of managing diabetes, we ask a doctor for the best tips for diabetics to regulate their blood sugar, even when fasting.
They know what to eat and how to eat during the time that they are allowed to eat. I don't advise them they suddenly overeat at the iftar time. They can control, to divide their eating on several, meals between iftar and suhoor. And also it is very important that they should not eat too much the sweet things. So we don't want their blood sugar to raise very high after iftar. And it is also important, the suhoor, to take it before dawn as late as possible to reduce the fasting period.
This advice, plus regularly monitoring your blood sugar through the day, can ensure that everyone has a healthy Ramadan.
Now let's take a minute to find out what and where you should be doing this Ramadan with our daily Ramadan calendar. Here are some of the activities which simply can't be missed. It's time for a break, but we'll be back before you know it with a special Ramadan guest nutritionist who will be telling us why fasting can be so good for us and how we can remedy our Ramadan health issues with food. And speaking of food, something smells delicious in here already. Stay tuned to find out what we're making on tonight's Ramadan recipes. Welcome back. You're watching City Wrap Ramadan. Now, people always debate whether fasting is or isn't healthy. Well, today's guest is going to be giving us a full lowdown of the truth. Here to help us ensure that this year's Ramadan is a healthy one, joining us here in studio is Health Factory's resident nutritionist Shireen Janus. Welcome to the show, Shireen.
Hello, Ilham. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. Now, it's Ramadan, and we all know that fasting is somehow good for us, but a lot of times we don't really know how and why. So tell us a little bit about that.
Ramadan basically is a month where not only you can get spiritually transformed, but you can also get physically transformed. Fasting has numerous health benefits. Firstly, we would like to recommend fasting should be done after having a good suhoor. One of the main benefits for fasting is detoxification. It helps mobilization of your fat stores. It helps give your digestive organs rest. Apart from that, it also helps overcome addictions to caffeine, tobacco, and these all will help you transform into a healthy individual.
You just mentioned that fasting, it's important to have a good suhoor.
Yes.
What do you recommend that people eat?
Suhoor should be basically having complete carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. It should have whole grains, bran, and along with that, it should also have protein. Now, these nutrients together help you keep full and can keep you up and running up to Iftar. Apart from that, one should also pay importance to hydration during suhoor. Having enough water, fresh fruits and juices will keep you hydrated throughout.
A lot of times what happens during suhoor, if you drink a lot of water, which is important, you can't eat. So, so how do you balance that?
Drinking water and being unable to eat is observed. We recommend that instead of drinking water, you can also have juices, you can have soups. So, along with water, you also get nutrition and phytonutrients alongside. Apart from that, you need to distribute your water intake post-Iftar up to suhoor so that you maintain your hydration levels until then.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a good time for suhoor? Because technically, we have suhoor at about 3:30, just before the Fajr prayers, but some people like to have it way earlier. Okay. So what's the best time for that?
Normally, we recommend having suhoor not immediately and then going to sleep. So you should have a break of 2 hours between your rest and the suhoor. So eating early is a good option, but people don't want to get up early. So if they're getting up late, it's fine, but then don't go back to sleep immediately. You know, you should stay up, help your meal get digested, and then maybe you can rest for a while.
Okay, so
Yes.
Moving on to Iftar. We've been talking about suhoor for a while.
Yes.
What do you suggest people have during Iftar?
Now, Iftar is a very important meal because you're fasting for around 15 hours. So it should start with dates, which is traditionally the right approach. Dates give you a boost of the sugar, which is low and which is your hypoglycemic. So the dates are great. You can then start with your hydration, drinking something along with the dates, maybe a fresh fruit juice or water sufficiently. Alongside, after that, you can start with a complete carbohydrate and a complex carbohydrate meal, like you can have whole grains, baked, grilled, fish, steamed chicken. All of these are good options. And don't forget the vegetables. That's equally important as well.
Now, as we know that this year's Ramadan, we're fasting for 15 hours and it's really hot.
Absolutely.
What are some of the health issues that may arise?
A lot of our Health Factory clients have issues like constipation and fatigue and headaches. Now, all of this can be remedied through food, and we've prepared plans for that. We recommend having, to address constipation, you should have fiber in your diet. and that can come through salads and through whole grains being incorporated in your iftar and suhoor. Apart from that, drinking enough of water and being hydrated also will address the issue. Moving on to headaches. Headaches is normally observed because of caffeine addiction. People who are having a lot of coffee, when you withdraw completely during Ramadan, it could be leading to headaches. So we recommend normally to stop your caffeine intake and slow it down 2 weeks prior to Ramadan.
2 weeks?
2 weeks prior.
Wow.
So you slow it down, and during Ramadan, hopefully that will be addressed.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. It was a pleasure to have you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, now we know you've been waiting for this, and well, we don't blame you. For all you out there eager to become tonight's competition winners, here's what's up for grabs. Bourgeois bag worth 1,000 dirhams, times 5 praying mat, iftar vouchers for the address hotels, voucher for Mandara Spa, 1 million absolutely gold perfume, a bundle of Sally Hansen products, and meal vouchers for Wafi restaurants. And for your chance to win, all you have to do is visit facebook.com/citywrap and answer this simple question. Fasting is one of how many pillars of Islam? A, 1, B, 5, or C, 9? We'll be announcing tonight's winner on our Facebook page on Tuesday, so make sure you check in with us to find out if you're the chosen one. Now, time for a very quick break, but we'll be back with a very special Ramadan recipe that's guaranteed to impress your iftar guests. See you in a bit. Welcome back to City Wrap Ramadan. Well, it's that part of the show where we heat things up in the kitchen with our daily Ramadan recipes. I'm joined by Executive Chef at the Address Dubai Mall, Chef Andrew Zarzosa. Welcome to our kitchen, Chef.
Thank you for having me.
So what are we cooking today?
Okay, so we're doing a dish based on frike.
Okay.
So I'm obviously not from this part of the world, but I've come to know a lot of the ingredients, and in particular, frike is a very fascinating ingredient. Here you see some raw frike.
Okay.
And basically what we're going to do to just start it off is cook it. And I think most people here are familiar with how to cook it. It's just simply boiling it in water with some aromatics or stock if you don't want water. So here I have some that's already been cooked and then just chilled down. So this has been cooked in stock for about 30 to 40 minutes.
Okay, and what's the rest of the ingredients? Let's go through those.
So the rest of the ingredients, we have some different aromatics that is going to go in our puree.
All right.
And then we also have some date, apricot, and we have some yogurt. So it's a very simple dish, very easy, and the longest part of it is just cooking the frike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make the puree. So we have aromatics here. So we have star anise, which I'll put in the pan. Let me just turn it on. And this is to give it a little bit more of the flavor that's inside of the frike, what we cooked in the stock.
It brings it out?
It brings it out, right.
Okay.
So at the end, what we're going to do is we're going to make an infusion of this. So we'll toast the spices. So we have cardamom, star anise, clove, coriander seed, and some cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a traditional dish, right?
I think at the end when you see it, you'll see that it's not so traditional by the way that I'm putting it together. And again, that's just...
So you're giving it a twist?
Giving it a bit of a twist, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So it's always important to toast your spices to bring out the aromatic qualities and release the essential oils.
How do you know that it's well toasted and ready to go?
So in a dry pan, you're going to toast it and then you'll start to smell it. So that's very important. You can do this either on the pan or in the oven.
Okay.
But I suggest doing it on the pan because then you can keep an eye on it and then you're not walking away and letting it burn.
Okay.
So once it releases the aromatics, you'll smell them in your kitchen. It becomes more alive.
Which we are already.
Yeah. So once that's going, I'm just going to get some water.
Okay. Is that about a cup? How much are you adding?
This is about 500 ml.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then we're going to just bring this up to the boil. And then what we're going to do just to tie it, if you excuse me, I have some tea. So this is jasmine tea.
All right.
Which I'm going to infuse in the water with it. So this brings everything together. We're also going to season it a little bit.
Okay. Why did you pick jasmine tea in particular?
I like the floral element of it, and then it ties kind of the same you have cardamom, you have the cinnamon. So these all have this very nice floral aromatic quality to it. So I think it ties it together very nicely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add about 8 grams of agar. So agar is it's a natural gelatin that's found in seaweed. And the reason why we're going to do this is because this is an infusion. So it's liquid based, obviously. It's like a tea. So to make that into a sauce, we're going to gel it.
Okay.
So once this boils, we bring it up to the boil. We cook it for about 3 minutes to activate the gelling properties of agar. And then we'll simply just strain it and put it into a tray.
All right.
So once this is cooked, simply all you do is you strain it, you let it infuse for longer.
Okay.
And then you strain it right into the tray.
All right.
Let me turn this off.
Chef, is agar easy to find in Dubai?
Yes, actually.
Really?
It's, you would find it in your Asian section of the grocery store.
Okay.
Because in Asia, they use it a lot for desserts and that type of thing.
Why didn't you use the normal gelatin? Is it because
this is actually, it's more vegetarian based.
It's vegetarian.
So if you want to make it completely vegetarian, you can by using agar.
Okay.
So then this would just set, and then we'll put it in the fridge.
It's in the fridge for how long?
Not very long. Agar is very quick to set, a couple minutes, 10 minutes max.
We have 4 minutes.
What happens is it sets, and I have some already, that's why I know.
Okay.
So it sets, I cut it into cubes, as you
Okay.
can see here. And then what we'll do is we'll blend this to get a very smooth puree. I've already blended some, and I have some in the chiller ready to go.
Okay.
So we don't have to wait for that. Okay, so then next part of this dish.
Okay, so we have put it for gelling.
Yes.
Bring it out, cut it, chop it into cubes.
Yes.
And then blend it.
And then blend it into a smooth puree. That's
Okay,
correct.
smooth puree. And
Yes.
what do we do next then?
Okay, so next we have apricot. So again, this can be done just whole like this, and you can chop it, or you can make nicer shape out of it.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've taken the juice that
Okay.
you would normally drink.
Apricot juice?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've also gelled it with some agar and cut it into thin sheets. So the same method I just showed you with the infusion, you could do with the apricot juice, some agar, you boil it, you pour it into a tray like this, lined with paper, and then simply let it gel.
Top it up with another sheet of paper, and then you let it gel.
I just covered it, so it's
okay.
covered. And so then what we do is we gel it, and then we let it get set, and then we just cut it into nice shapes like this. Now, this is just being fancy. You can at home, if you don't want to be fancy, you can just simply leave
Eat it however you want.
Exactly. You can do it as it is naturally, which is fine as well.
This looks really nice.
So we just cut it like that. The next element to the dish, what we'll do is we'll heat up our...
We have about 3 minutes.
No problem. Plenty of time.
Okay.
We'll heat up our frike
Okay.
in a pan.
Okay. Are you going to add the puree you made?
No, actually it goes on the end. So I'm adding a little olive oil.
Okay.
And frike is actually wonderfully healthy for you. And as you mentioned before, if you're managing diabetes, it's very good for that because it has low sugar levels.
Why is that?
It's just a very healthy natural ingredient. It comes from wheat, green wheat, so it's just naturally that way. So it doesn't have a lot of fat or sugar or anything like that. So, and lots of flavor, which is the most important thing.
Well, it's definitely a healthy episode today.
So now while we're cooking that, while it comes up to temperature, I'm going to take out the puree that I've made.
Okay.
And I have some yogurt here. So this is...
What's in the yogurt?
Now
like
this,
it's got
yes,
something
this
in it.
has something in it. This has been smoked, this yogurt. So it's not your usual yogurt. But you can use regular yogurt at home. I just did it smoked, so it adds a little bit of an extra
How did you smoke
flavor.
the yogurt?
So this one has been put into a bowl over wood chips.
Okay.
And then it gets smoked. We cover it. and then it infuses in the smoke.
Okay.
And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold it through a little bit.
The fricke.
So as you would cook a risotto, you might fold in some creme fraiche or some butter just to richen it up a bit to give that luxurious mouthfeel.
2 minutes plate, chef.
And there you have it. It's very simple.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna do to finish it off, can I just
Sure.
slide over here? We're just gonna plate it up, nice and warm on the plate. And then we're gonna add the other elements that we've made. So we have our puree.
Okay.
So as you eat it, you're getting shots of this flavor.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you're gonna
We're
put
doing
the
some
pretty
apricot.
apricots.
Okay. So as well, you're getting bits of the apricot here and there.
Looks very interesting.
Yeah,
And
it's not a
fun.
very
Like the circles.
yeah. I also have some dates. Now these dates I've gone fancy again, and I've just flattened them. I've taken the skin off so that they're easier to eat.
Okay, and then you cut them.
And then I cut them into circles
creative.
just the same way that I've cut the everything else. Sorry,
Okay.
they're sticking here. Okay. And then we just have some wheat grass. So this is, since we're using essentially wheat as a product, as an ingredient, we have some wheat grass. So this will tie together the wheat flavor. And just at the end, we're gonna finish it off with a little bit of pistachio.
Pistachios. Chef, when is a good time to eat this dish?
I think it makes a very interesting starter to if you're having a very nice meal at home. Of course, you can do it less fancy than I've just done by just doing it very simply, just in the bowl with the fruit broken up with your hands. You don't have to go fancy. I just wanted to make it a little bit extra special for you guys.
It does look very special.
And I know that some home cooks are very advanced these
particular
days. So.
about yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
it was
you
a
for
pleasure
having me. It was my pleasure.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, that's all we have time for in our show tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll be joined by Emirati nasheed singer Osama Al Safi. Make sure you tune in. Have a good night.